Hey everyone! This is gonna be my first time reviewing a game, so I apologize if I stumble my words a bit, uh, but I really wanted to do a game review. Why, you ask? Because I just feel like it. And I wanted this game to get a bit more love despite having some issues with it. With that said, I'm gonna talk a little about this game. It's a remake called Alone in the Dark. It's been released for quite a while now, and I've been playing a bit, let's say 20 to 30 hours. I've finished the game on both characters, and I'm gonna talk about how's the gameplay, how's the story, compare it from original and the remake. But uh, I haven't played the original, but I'm just gonna compare it just a little bit. With that said, I'm gonna talk a little about the pros and the cons about the game. So bear with me in my voice, everyone, and here we go. So, what is Alone in the Dark? Well, it's a survival action horror game. It's actually the foundation of survival action horror game. It inspired Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Evil Within, and the list goes on. So you can play as two characters, Jim Hopper, I mean Edward Carnby, and Jodie Comer. I don't know, Coomer, whatever. So it sets from I think year 1920s, and of course it starts with a cutscene, and they travel to their Seto Manor. It's a home for the mentally fatigued to investigate the disappearance of Jeremy Hartwood, which is Emily's uncle. That's why he hired Edward Carnby here, which is a PI, a private investigator. As you reach the manor, you can choose the two playable characters. Either you want to be the private investigator Edward Carnby or the cursed lineage bloodline Emily Hartwood. So, the player's job is to investigate the manor. Upon a certain point, you're gonna meet some NPCs, which you interact with them sometimes, but in my experience, it's not really that important to talk to the NPCs. I mean, it gives you a bit of the lore of of the manor, what's happening a bit, but they're not very informative, and most of their lines are very useless. But the fun part of the story is the supernatural part where what's going on, how did you get there, what is this, what's that, and so on and so forth. The main point of this is the mystery, what's happening. That's the beauty of this game. If I compare this to other game, I mean the story, it's similar to Silent Hill, but the gameplay is more like Resident Evil, which is I'm a fan of Resident Evil. But that's enough with the boring details about the story. Of course, what the gamers want is the gameplay. So, how is the gameplay? Well, as you know, it's a survival action horror game over the shoulder third person. So, it's gonna be like Resident Evil or Silent Hill. It's very, very similar, those games. Much of the games involve exploration and puzzle solving. The player searched through the manor for clues and what occurred here before the player's arrival. Despite being a survival action horror game, you don't really have an inventory. Well, you have an inventory for your clues and key items, but it's not really item management. But you still need to take care of your ammo because the enemies are a bit hard on the hard difficulty. But on the normal difficulty, I think it's kinda meh. It's kinda easy for me, but that's my experience. You do you do what you have to do to have fun, and I respect you for that. But if for those who likes a bit of challenging or a bit of thrill, I recommend you choose the hard difficulty. With that being said, you don't only have to use guns. You can actually use a melee weapon. It's a bit clunky, but you have many kinds of melee weapons, but they're not as exciting, of course, as the guns here. Now, as for the puzzles, I say 50-50. There are some very, very easy puzzle that is insultingly easy, that they kind of mock the gamers. But on some puzzles, they're super, super hard. Like, it took me quite a while to solve some of the puzzles, like maybe an hour or just half an hour. But still, I actually forgot one more mechanic about this game, which is you can throw bottles or bricks at enemies, which is, in my experience, it's more fun to do this, of course. Especially when I threw them the Molotov at them, then I shoot them with my gun, then it ignites, then they caught on fire. It's very, very satisfying. Now, my issues about this game is, of course, the many, many bugs that comes with it. Even though they released it on March 2024 this year, I mean, it's still no excuse that there's so many bugs in the game. Like, when you shoot at the enemy, it keeps like phasing through them, the bullets. Like, it doesn't feel satisfying at all. Sometimes it, you throw the Molotov at them, that it just went backwards. It just poop. It just teleported behind you. It's not. It's infuriating. It's annoying. Is what I meant to say. Now, having two characters, of course, means having different endings. But it's not only two endings. There are actually maybe five or six endings, if I recall. And once you reach to a certain chapter, you have to be very, very perceptive of it. So you can't just willy-nilly blindly follow the objectives all the time. You have to explore the manner so that you can find what you called a lagniappe, which is these lagniappes are sort of like treasure hunting. They're like objectives you can find. They're optional, but they're very important if you want different endings. So we're nearing the end of the video, but I'm gonna summarize all that I have said. And first off, let's go with the pros. So let's go with the pros first. The game is fun for survival action horror fans. Uh, the story is good. It keeps you in the dark. I mean, no pun intended. Uh, it keeps you in the dark. It has a mystery of what is going on, and it keeps you going. Some puzzles are stimulating, some puzzles are hard. Yeah, some puzzles are good. It's a good horror game. If For me, that's my opinion though. I like the supernatural where you go place to place, like Evil Within, and treasure hunting in the manor is fun. Okay, so those are the pros. Now let's go with the cons. As I have said, there are many many bugs that they need to fix it, because sometimes when I played the game, it became annoying to the point that I don't want to play for the game. I want to play something else. So they really need to fix that, especially the combat bugs, which are pretty annoying. NPCs are forgettable. I do not like some of them, and the dialogue was most of the part not very informative. There's no item inventory, but that's only me because I love item inventory when it's survival action horror game. The item inventories, it's like it's missing something very important, and I kind of like that mechanic, and it's missing here. So and now another opinion of mine is personal opinion is the lack of boss battles. But that's just my opinion though. And I love boss battles. I love Dark Souls, the series, and I love Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Sekiro, and in Resident Evil, some of the games are hard, especially for me, Resident Evil 4. Not the remake. I mean, the remake one is fucking hard, but the original was harder. Like on normal difficulty back then was so hard, but now I played it like every year for my birthday or something, and I kind of know the ins and outs. But even though I memorize the game, I still die from time to time. So I love the challenge. I love the thrill. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. And last but not least, I think, as I've said, other puzzles are hard, but some puzzles are super easy to the point that's insulting to the gamer. Like they're saying, they don't know this puzzle, so we're gonna keep it very, very simple. Like, come on, make it harder. Those who played survival action horror games, for me, I think they like puzzles, they like horror, they like some boss battles, and they like some newer enemies. Also, since I mentioned enemies, I'm gonna add also the lack of variety of enemies. So I mean, some enemies are good. They're hard. They're fun to kill, but it lacks more flavor, if you know what I'm talking about. And that's my opinion of the game. Now, it's actually for me the price. Well, I live in the Philippines, so the price here is cheaper than in other countries, but it's still a bit pricey. So if you want to play the game, I recommend you to wait for the sale. Maybe 30-40%, because right now it's not worth it. But I still recommend the game for survival action horror fans. But if you're just looking for a good horror game and not survival action horror, I repeat, survival action horror like Resident Evil, Evil Within, or Silent Hill, I don't recommend. If you don't love those games, you're not gonna love this. But if you love that, then you're gonna love this. It's like Death Stranding. Uh, it's not your cup of tea, so to speak. I can't remember the saying. But anyway, all. That's all what I think about the game. I recommend it. It's fun. I had fun. Okay, comment down below in comment section and give me your thoughts and opinions about my review and about the game. Did you have fun? Did you like my video? Or was it bad? It's all up to you. If you like it, give it a like, and if you like my videos, give it a subscribe. I'm stumbling my words, I'm sorry. Anyway, see ya. Hey, you watched the video! Or you skipped it. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. Bye bye!